Okay, sorry about that. I had to kind of break that video up into two. They're going to be kind of long, and get a little beetle interfering in our video. So like I said, phase two, make sure it's 4 ounces, 30 minutes no drinking before, 30 minutes no drinking after, and obviously 30 minutes no drinking in between. So like an hour and a half, you're not going to drink during the whole eating process. Mushy foods, yogurt, cottage cheese, pudding, sugar-free pudding, scrambled eggs, make it on the runny side, cream soups, pastina you can have. Now, some practices say, okay, you can have rice and you can have pasta and stuff, and mine is really kind of sort of dead set on and not getting into those things because rice expands a lot, pasta expands a lot too. They're saying stay more to the orzo or the pastina so far as pastas. On the occasion, like an elbow kind of thing, but for the most part, to stay away because pasta does expand big time, and you really have to be careful because you'll eat it and be like, oh, I feel fine, and then it'll start to expand, and you're like, your stomach hurts so bad, kind of thing. You're not going to be comfortable. No oatmeal, farina, cream of wheat in the cereal department. Mashed potatoes are really good. Cream spinach is really good so far as like your first vegetable. Cream pea soup, bean soup, that kind of thing. Puree it so that it's really, chewed up really well. You can do tofu at this point, they said. And they said also that you can do 1 cup of caffeine at this point. Before that, everything was caffeine free. So 1 cup of caffeine, make sure you sip, make sure you do your, half an hour before, half an hour after, and half an hour during, and don't exceed the 4 ounces. Big time. Do not exceed the 4 ounces. So that's phase two. Phase one, obviously, is the clear fluids. So phase three is going into the soft solid diet. And they really say, a lot of people say, oh, have carrots. They really say that carrots are too fibrous. And what can happen is they can make a ball, just like people talk about chicken can really be too fibrous. And it can just make a ball in your pouch, and you just sit there uncomfortably until it passes. So no carrots. You can do, let's see, the kind of things. You can start doing tuna. Tuna, talk about bang for your buck, just like cottage cheese. Tons of protein in tuna. Only bad thing, you need to not eat it every day or like more than 3 times a week because of the whole mercury poisoning possibility. But it's really good. So say you had 4 ounces of tuna with a little bit of mayonnaise. 4 ounces of tuna is like almost 32 grams, at least from the Wegmans canned tuna that I buy. So that's a lot of a lot of protein. So when you need 70 grams of protein and you're going to get 32 in one of your meals, big time help. Huge. You can start eating fish, tilapia, ground beef, make it moist with gravy. You can start doing deli meats. They say boar's head meats are the best meats because they're not like very salty, that kind of thing. You can do eggs, any kind of flaky fish, chili, Wendy's chili, very good. A small chili will be like 2 meals. And you just chew it really good, and it sits really well, and you feel really full, and you definitely get your energy there. You can also start doing like Bartlett pears in your own juices. In their own juices, you can do peaches. You can do green beans, peas. They have to be canned or frozen. Fresh, it's a little bit harder to deal with. Canned chicken. I know Walmart and a bunch of the other stores do like the pre-done canned chicken. It's kind of like tuna fish. That's really moist and it works really well. The tuna and the canned chicken is awesome. The string cheese you can start to have. Also very good. One string cheese has like 7 grams of protein in it. And usually I think you can do about 2 in your 4 ounce once it's all chewed up and stuff. So it's 14 grams, and it's, can be a meal or snack, however you want to do it. If you get something stuck at this time, the big thing to do is to not eat and go right over to fluids until you have that obstruction stuck. But you should really be stopping eating the second you start to feel full. The biggest thing that I had at this time was like ground beef and turkey. Even though they're really ground up, they're really kind of harder than any of the other things that I've eaten. So you really have to kind of slowly eat them, chew really good. And if you don't chew, you're going to feel it sitting in your pouch or going down, and it's not going to be the most comfortable thing. So really, 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 really chew. Important things that they told me, which I was a little scared of at first, because when I have migraines and things like that, the only thing that seems to help me is Advil. No NSAIDs, no Advil. They can, as much as possible. I mean, you can have it, they said 2 to 3 times a month, but if you could avoid it, to avoid it with a 10-foot pole, because what it can do is it can make ulcers along your staple line in your stomach, in your pouch. So it's really not worth the risk. So if you can get away with Tylenol, do it. They said any kind of Tylenol product you can have because they're small enough to swallow, and they're going to help you with pain or with your cold or whatever's happening, seasonal allergies, that kind of thing. Make sure you do your multivitamin twice a day. I have a multivitamin from the doctor that they put together. It's a Bariatric Complete. I have to do it twice a day. It's a chewable. It has, the biggest thing that you need to really worry about is the iron. It has B12 and all that stuff, but I take a sublingual B12 that they make themselves. It has biotin and whatnot. So a multivitamin, really good multivitamin. If your doctor recommends one and they actually do it, I would go with it, because I've, definitely felt a huge difference. Like I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to take my vitamin, and I take it, and then a half an hour later I feel more perked up and I have more energy. Totally do your multivitamin twice a day. It's really hard at nighttime sometimes to remember, but you have to do the sublingual in the morning with your multivitamin, because you can only absorb a certain amount of vitamins at any given sitting, and you're going to do it with food. And then at lunchtime they say to do your calcium. Now for calcium, I had gotten the Viactive. It's a little backwards in the webcam, but it's chewy, it's chocolate. It only has 3 grams of sugar, so you're not going to have like a dumping syndrome effect from it. And it's tasty. It's almost like having a Tootsie Roll, you know what I mean? But it's your calcium. So with lunch, and then later on in the evening, 2 calcium as well. So 2 multivitamins, 2 calcium. Now I'm also taking biotin because I've heard the scary stories, and I've seen them, of everybody losing their hair. And I already sort of had a little bit of a paranoia of like a little thinning at the top of my head before. I had stopped taking birth control for a while because I did not want to lose any more hair, and that's what I thought was causing it, was that kind of thing. It turns out it probably was a combination of things to do with my weight that was probably causing the thinning at the top of my hair. But for the most part, it seems okay. I'm taking biotin, and this is 7,500 mcgs. So this is like the biggest one I saw, and it's not too big. It's tiny. It's the size of like a little teeny tablet. I'll show you. It's really, really tiny. See? Teeny tiny, you can barely see it. So small. They say if it's got to be like the size of an M&M pill wise, otherwise you got to break it up. So here's my B12, and this is what they put together, but I saw many different sublingual B12s. This is 2,500 mcgs, and you only need 1,000, and supposedly we can take this, excuse me, I've got a little doggy barking in the background. Supposedly you can take this like every other day because it has so much B12 in it, but you can't OD on B12 from what we've been told. So taking one a day, it's not going to hurt you. If anything, it's going to help you if you're not absorbing things 100%, especially in the beginning. So make sure 2 multivitamins, 2 calcium, and 1 sublingual, at least 1,000 of B12. Make sure your multivitamin has iron. When I first started out, I was using the chewables, and my one chewable didn't have any iron in it. A lot of people become anemic, so that's one big thing to really make sure that you're doing. Some people might not think about this or think to ask the doctor, and the doctor might not even tell you. What you want to do is this: don't swim. Can't swim for at least 4 weeks until like your incisions are really healed, and make sure you ask. I had a lot of questions, like I go to the chiropractor, can I get adjusted, can I lay on my stomach? Make sure you ask those questions, write them down. One thing that I found, and I'm going to ask next time, is I've become very forgetful. I was already a little forgetful, but now I'm really becoming forgetful. So I'm wondering maybe if I'm a little deficient in a vitamin that might help with short-term memory kind of thing. So that's one thing I'm writing down, because obviously it has to do with memory, and maybe I'll take some ginkgo biloba to try to help me with that kind of thing. But just make sure you write everything down, and do the best you can. So your calcium is going to be about 600 milligrams. I don't know if I said that. And I'm trying to think of what else can help you. Basically, I hope everybody's doing really well. I'm going to add on to this with after my 1